So hi everyone. Let me know if you can see my webcam. Great. So hi everyone. I'm Akash. I am your digital marketing facilitator, coach, and trainer for today's session. To start with the introduction, I will tell you a bit about myself. I've been into digital marketing from last 16 years, more than 16 years though. And in these 16 years, I have a journey which is like I traveled through all the modules and components of digital marketing. It started things with the India Times and Times of India, building up and promoting portals like Time Jobs, Magic Breaks, Ads to Book, Simply Marry. There are other portals international like study places and all. So I've been through this journey since its inception in India, been taking care of the product side of it, some larger products, which is like top rating products in India, the UX side and the digital marketing side of it, the promotion side of it, and then later part, I've been helping brands in terms of establishing their digital marketing visibility. And to go forward, I would like to understand few things like overall persona of the audience today. So if you can help me understanding that, what is your digital marketing knowledge, you can type in the chat window what exactly you're doing as in profession of yours, your objective of learning Facebook marketing. So what is, you want to achieve out of Facebook marketing session about this learning, and which location you primarily based out of. So if you can just type this thing in the chat window, and we are good to go. Then we'll begin with the session. So can I see some responses in the chat window? Am I audible? Great. So I got a response from Gopal. Guys, this is Gopal from Bangalore. I run a company called LCIPL. We're into corporate training from last 10 plus years. Now we have got an individual training provider. Okay. Hi, Devdat. So I'm expecting more responses. Sham. Hello, Sham. You're into digital ad sales. Good. Nice. Okay. Can I get more responses, please? I'm still waiting. I have just two responses. Okay. Marceline, you have an online startup. Great. Reshma is working for NGO. Great. Okay. So, okay. Uh, Great. I'm getting some faster responses now. Amit Mandal, I'm from Delhi. Okay. Kolkata. Great. Okay, so we are starting with the session, and I am stopping my webcam and I'm moving towards the presentation and the screen sharing. Okay, okay. So, help me understand. I hope everyone has gone through the sessions, the videos provided for learning, and you got the required idea about this module of Facebook marketing, and we can start with some kind of interactive discussion and look forward to resolve your queries, or rather have a more constructive understanding. Okay, so I've seen a lot of people from across India have joined in. Kolkata, Delhi, Mumbai, uh, Ahmedabad. Great. So I have people from across India, and that's really nice. That's really nice. Okay, so I'm beginning with the session. So let's start with it. What I am trying to do here is, let's recall certain pointers in the entire module, and let's start building up you know a complete overall strategy which is going to help us understand things in a better perspective. So to begin with Facebook marketing, I would like to understand from you is what is that first thing you need to plan before you start your campaign. That first terminology, which was actually a first terminology in your course material as well, but what is that first thing you should think before you start your marketing per se? So guys, I would require the faster responses so that we can really cover up all the pointers in the session, because 1.5 hours we have to really cover it up. Okay, so people have responded with audience segmentation, identifying the audience, the objective. Yes. So the core and the first step to your marketing thing is your business objective. Yeah. Why business objective? What does you define in business objective? Why it is important? So business objective defines, say, your core action which you want, the core engagement which you want from your audience, and primarily they are of different type. So what you exactly want to achieve out of your marketing campaign is something which you define in your business objective. Now when I say Facebook marketing business objective, when you start your Facebook marketing, so what are those? Okay, so what are those few defined objectives which you can start your campaign with? We have certain pointers, right? When we define a business objective, when we think about a business objective. Yes, yes, Marceline. Brand awareness generate leads, lead generation increase sales. Okay, so Facebook, though we can define many business objectives, we can drive to many business objectives by using a combination of business objectives and the other factors, which could be audience parameters, your behavior of your business, subject of your business and all. Facebook has primarily Facebook has primarily given certain pointers, which is like branding awareness. So brand awareness is one thing which you can achieve and which you primarily look at. So people should know more and more about your brand, about your business, so that they can come and engage with it, and you can get various ROIs. It could be people calling you, people reaching to your store, people generating, sharing it. You are getting a share of voice. Then you have options like generate leads. So that's a direct option. You want to sell your product, or sell anything, or you have kind of a demo of a product which you want people to come and participate with. So you can actually generate leads campaign. Increase local sales. So you want my customers, you know come to your brick and mortar store. That's another important component which you look at. If you have a store, you have a local business, and you would like people to come to your store, so you can plan your campaign which is around your local sales. Online sales. Now, yes, this is also important. Now, once the moment you get into it, majority of people, or more number of people, are primarily looking at doing the sales online, or they have online business. You could say e-commerce website, or so a training website, or anything else. Or you have a e-store for, it could be a physical product or a fashion product, anything. So you want to drive sales to your online e-store. You want people to come your online e-store. So you have conversion, you have ad types for it, you have objectives types for it. And you can also look at promoting your apps. You have built up a mobile product, mobile app. You would like to you know
ಸರಿ ಬುಕ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಇವತ್ತಿದ್ರು ಹಾಕಿಸ್ಲೇಬೇಕಲ್ವಾ? ಬಟ್ ನಾನು ನಾಳೆ ಇರಲ್ಲಲ್ಲಮ್ಮ ಇಲ್ಲಿ.
okay, so guys, I would request if you can mute your microphone.
ನೀವು
I
ಹಾಕ್ಸ್ತೀಯ
could
ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮನೆಗೆ?
I am hearing. Yeah, guys, I am requesting you, please
ಇಲ್ಲಾಂದ್ರೆ
mute your microphone, please.
ಇವತ್ತು ಬುಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ಸೋಣ. ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಯಾಟರ್ಡೆ ಅಥವಾ ಸಂಡೇ ಬಂದು ಇನ್ಸ್ಟಾಲ್ ಮಾಡು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳೋಣ. ಬಿಕಾಸ್
Rupa, thank you, Rupa. Okay, so business objectives is one thing we have talked about. Any questions anybody have on business objectives? I would like to clarify before we move to the next important subject and topic. Okay, so start the next step. Once you define your business objectives for your business, there is another important thing which will put you in competition with the with your competitors, with your business competitors. Now, what is that we define, and why it is important? So if I talk about the terminology which is called USPs. So what is USP primarily? Can anyone help with that? Help me with that. Unique selling point. Good. So I have my question was, what is USP? You know, what is unique selling point? So what do you understand by unique selling point, and why it is important? Yes. Yes, Ishita, you are right. Gopal, you are right. Competitors. Yes. So the differentiation factor, USP is like creating that differentiation factor. Yes, you guys are right. And competitors, you can create a differentiation factor which can put you above your competitors. It could be your low cost, quality, product is unique in nature, and this is where you find the space in the competition which is already existing in the market. So you define that gap which can help you get a place in the competition, and then with that USP you start promoting your business, so you get better eyeballs and attention of your prospective customers, and then you go with your marketing, achieving your marketing objectives. Great. So once we are done with it, say we have defined our business objective and we have defined our USPs and we know that this is our product, this is our competition, this is the market segmentation. Now, the next thing what we need to understand is about our audience, right? So who do you want to reach? That is important, right? So if I ask you, Facebook provides you certain filters, to reach and design your audience, where you want to reach. So what are those? The core audience. I'm talking about the core audience thing. So what are those elements, what are those filters which is going to help you define your first level audience? Say you are starting your campaign, you're starting your business right away, and then you want to reach out to certain audience based on your business objective. So can I get some responses, guys? So on what parameters do you set up your target audience, the core target audience? Yes. So Reshma said demographics, Marceline said age, gender, location, interest, behavior, connections. Great. Demographic, age, gender, location. Yeah. So core audience includes filters like devices also. Yeah. Connections, devices. So core audience come with the filters which is called demographics, where you can define age, gender, location. You have behavior, you have interest, you have location, you have connections. So you have these parameters which is going to define your core audience. So let me do one thing. So let me talk about the audience part. This is you could see two options here. One is the custom audience, and then you have other options which we call our core audience designing, which where you define your target audience. So you could define the location, which could be on a country level, or you can have say a very specific city level thing. For example, I want to run a campaign in Bangalore, and I can choose Bangalore, and then I can also look at what area in Bangalore, from Bangalore central point, central pinpoint area. I can define the kilometers range depending on the business reach. I can define my age, gender. I can look at what people who speak you know specific language in that location, right? So I can choose that as well, and I can also choose the connection type, my Facebook friends, apps, events. So people who have interacted with my, could be my page, could be my, application or some kind of event which I have done, and this is how I could actually create my audience. Yes. So this is fine. Any questions in this part? Creating your target audience. Okay. So once you are defined with your target audience, we go to another session which is called, say, marketing funnel, right? So marketing funnel is the customer decision making journey. What customer want to do first? They want to take the information, knowledge. They will may choose certain products, and then they can go to a shopping cart and all. And this is how your marketing journey defines, the based on the customer behavior, the prospective customer behavior, right? The marketing funnel. Okay, so the big question now: why Facebook pages? So can I get some response in that? People can give some insights like why Facebook pages when we are talking about Facebook marketing. So why Facebook pages? Why you are going to choose Facebook as your marketing channel, marketing component, and then you're choosing Facebook, and then you're going to create a page. So what is the reason behind it? Yes. Okay, so Facebook has 1.6 billion users, huge reach and available customer data for targeting. Many active users engage with the customers. Yes, yes. So people spend a lot of time on Facebook, as in social media channel and Instagram. So you're right. The number base and actually the active number base on Facebook is pretty high and pretty good. So the moment you design your campaigns, what you get is good active users with certain interests and behaviors, which are likely to engage with your business. And once they engage with your business, they ultimately travel the marketing funnel which you are targeting, and then they do the transaction. And transaction could be anything. They can buy your product, they can like, comment, share, they can generate a lead, whatever, whatever your end objective you want to achieve out of the entire Facebook marketing exercise. That transaction, the last, funnel, the last point of your funnel, people are going to do that, take that action. So once we are on the page, we are there on Facebook page, we have created. So everybody knows about how to create a Facebook page, right? So you have done that exercise of creating the page, you have created your page. So what we'll do is we'll take one of the example of our marketing a Facebook page, and then we'll look forward how to create the audience and how to create your ads and all. So once we are done with the pages, we are ready with the pages, the next thing what we have to think about is the types of posts. So what are the types of posts we have on Facebook? I hope I'm audible. So what are the types of posts? Yes. Photo, video, poll, slideshow, carousel. Yes. So my next question is, if why use videos? Oh. Reshma 360-degree photo is, yes, a photo ad, photo post, but it's a type of a photo. 360 degree. Yes, they are more engaging. So they are more engaging, reason being they can put up a stronger brand story, the brand emotions, and the brand communication, right? Great. Okay. So let's do one thing. Let's take one example of business. What we could look at, like planning the entire campaign around it, the Facebook campaign around it. So any ideas from you guys, which we can look at, and I can define, like I can choose one of it, and then we can go, or shall I suggest something? So what pages you have created? So if people can let me help me know what kind of pages you have created, what business, keeping business objective or business idea, the categories. Okay, online shopping lifestyle brand. Great. I've created photography brand. Good, Priya. You have created a page on your blog. Okay, great. So while you create a post and you start posting on your Facebook page, on your business page, there is one more filter what you have, which Facebook has recently launched, is preferred audience. So you can have a option. So you can have an option where you can actually ensure that your post reaches to people who falls into your preferred audience category, right? So anybody can help me how many number of tags we can use in a preferred audience category? Okay, so we can have usually 16 number of tags, wherein Facebook suggests to have something between 6 to 10, and you can use a mix of location, age, and gender to define your preferred audience. So now what happens is whenever you're going to do a post, you can choose your audience, and specific type of post will go to certain preferred audience where you are going to supposed to get more engagement. So they are likely to do engage more with your post. They would like to like it, share it, comment it. And with the new Facebook policies, 2018 policies, if you look at it, Facebook is also looking at the business posts which are more engaging. So your users or customers need to like it. When I say like, like has certain weightage to it. But if the reaction is much bigger, say love, if people choose an icon which is called love, which defined love emotions into it, the weightage of your post is going to go higher. It will be more. And then if people are commenting on your post, now one is people commenting on your post, and one is you are also replying to those comments, so the weightage goes higher. Similarly, if there are sharings happening, and if you share a certain kind of a link in the post, and those links has been shared by messenger, you know the Facebook messenger, if people are sharing that link on Facebook messenger, so there are various types of weightage which Facebook has defined, say in 2018, around business pages, to ensure that right content with right interest and right intention goes to the active audience, and then those active audience engage with your page. Now this benefits both audience and the businesses. Audience because they get more relevant content to see and interact with. Business that they get more relevant audience which are actually engaging with your business, right? So it gives better benefits on the both ends. And while defining your post, while creating your post, you have to really look at that how engaging it would be. It should communicate your business objective. It is as per the behavior of your audience, likes and dislikes. You categorize that, and then you you know do that. You start with that engagement, you start posting it and start engaging with your audience. Okay, so when you do your post, so one of the question is, you did a post, you created a very very good post, you feel that it is going to be very engaging and all. That's one thing you have defined. Now, to reach to a larger audience, you are new into this business, you are new on the page or Facebook, you new with the Facebook page, and you have to reach out to the audience, which is obviously based on your business objective going to be fairly large or defined into a certain locality or location. So what is the first marketing step on Facebook you could think of, as in how you can promote that page? The first thing which is defined and which will come to your mind, that this is how I can actually ensure that my post is going to reach to the larger people. Yeah, so Priya has replied, and I'm waiting for other replies also. Other Priya, you are actually right. So can I get more responses? Yes, brand awareness is there, Maslin, but I think I'm talking about the first step, and that you have mentioned. Yes, Gopal, that I'm talking about. I'm talking about how to reach out to more customers. So what is that marketing, component what you have in Facebook which will help you achieving that? Yes. So most of the responses is boost post, and yes, you are right. The first thing you could do is boost your post. So for example, let me go to a page, say a page of mine only, and I talk about certain, say, post which I have, and I say my organic reach is just certain number of people, and I really want that to reach out to more and more people in a certain location, or with certain people with certain interests or certain behaviors, whatever my parameters. So I look forward to boost this post. I can add a button, so there could be an action point which you can add up here. I'll say shop more, book now if I have a session, or sign up, or if I want somebody to come to my store, I can say get direction. Any options I can define my address if I'm asking for the get direction thing, or I can choose something else which I say shop now. And when I say shop now, this button will lead to a link in the post, whatever link I'm going to define in the post. Learn more. So you want your users, your customers to learn more about your business or about your offerings or anything. Then you can define your audience in terms of who living where. Right, so you can define similarly, you can define the location, you can define based on demographics, interest, behavior, and then it is going to show you your audience reach, your age, gender, based on your product category, behavior, location, everything. So all those parameters in mind, and you can define it, and you can really create a boost. Once you will create the boost, your post is more likely to be shown in the timeline of the created audience, the audience you have targeted, and thus you will be able to reach out to more and more people who falls in the ambit of your preferred audience, your preferred customers, right? So there are a lot of people around, and they have the requirement what kind of the product or service you are going to sell. I'm just canceling this thing because I already have a couple of campaigns running on my account. Okay, so we have talked about boost post and also cover page insights. So the moment you start doing these boost posts, you start posting on your page, you will start getting certain information about how people are interacting with it. This could be a reach of your post, the number of impressions, what you have on your post. See what kind of post has got more reactions, comments, shares, and you could actually get to understand your audience, what kind of people are actually engaging with your posts, so you can better define what post should go to what kind of audience and what kind of post you actually should do, because there are a number of posts which does not get much of engagement interaction, so you can eliminate that from your from your creative plan, from your marketing plan, and you can actually concentrate on something which gives you more tractions, and you can actually monitor what's going right for you and what's not going right for you. You can actually define that as well, right? Now when we talked about this entire part, there is one thing which we have covered is organic, you know business and organic reach on the Facebook, right? So can I ask you, does Facebook charges anything for creating a page, a business page? Yes. And what about organic marketing? When you create a post and you post, okay, Marceline says yes. Marceline, why yes? Okay, okay, ठीक है, fine. So right, I understand. So I was talking about the posts. So when you create a post and you really do a posting on your Facebook page, is it chargeable? No. Right. So I'm getting faster responses now. Great. Yes. So till this part, your Facebook marketing is free. Facebook is not charging you anything. You can create a page, you can invite your friends to join your page. You may have a group of people, you can actually send them mails or send them invites, and you can ask them to join your page and have an interaction. Your friends can further invite your friends. This is how you can define filters, and you have your audience in place. Now, going forward, if you really want to promote your page into a specific audience which is beyond your network, then you do say various kind of ad types. Boost pose is one of them, and then we will later on this presentation we are going to discuss other ad types, right? So here you define what kind of budget you have, what kind of budget you could put, and then accordingly you can define your audience location, and you can do a campaign which will start giving you certain tractions that based on your business objective. Yeah? Okay, so let's do one thing now, and that is let's go to ad manager and start things from here. So you guys are familiar with the ad manager, Facebook ad manager. So how many of you have accessed phase your ads manager or set up your ads manager, tried creating an ad there? Good. So people who have done it are now going to help me in terms of creating the ad, the first of the ad. Some problem with the interface. Okay, but couldn't do so. They have blocked me. Blocked view. And any reason, specific reason for this, Marcelin? I really have to look at it. I really have to understand, Marcelin. I can really help you in this. Uh, but maybe we can do it on the later part of this session. Let me first, help people how to create it, your ad, and then we can go to that, the problem. So I'll try to understand it. Okay. So the first thing what we see here when we go to the ads manager is your campaign, and campaign with an objective, your marketing objective, right? So this is where we also started with your marketing objective or business objective. What do you want to achieve out of the campaign? So you have three funnels here, which is awareness, consideration, and conversion, right? So brand awareness, reach, primarily falls into the category, the funnel, where you want more and more people to come and engage with your brand or should know about your brand. Consideration funnel is more about engagement. Just there are various kind of engagements. You want traffic to drive, you want engagement, you want your installation of the apps, video views, lead generation, or the messenger ads, the messages. So you can also set up a campaign where people can actually reach you out on your Facebook Messenger and they can interact with you. And then we have a conversion funnel, which we'll talk about conversion, catalog sales, and store visits and all. I think there are a couple of things which we are going to cover in session two out of this. Now, let's say, uh, can you guys help me with one business idea, some business idea you can think we can create the entire campaign and audience around? Shall I take, say, food? Okay, great, food. So, for example, you have a case that you are planning to open a restaurant in your locality. So there are certain business objectives based on the limitations and the USPs which we are going to define. So when you open up a food outlet, you have one thing which is called certain area, people with certain kind of food preferences. It could also connect to the age group, because that depends. Like, you're talking about pizzas and all, Italian food or Chinese food. So you're more likely to have the young audience who is going to interact with it. Now, if I have to promote the food outlet and I have the entire set of my marketing objectives in front of me, and I'll say these are the marketing objectives, what should I do? What should what should be the first campaign I should plan as a marketing objective, which is going to help in terms of generating more footfalls? Can anybody help me with that? Should I go and do brand awareness with that? Should I go a reach campaign, store opening post? Yes, you can do that, Ayush. You can do store opening post and you can boost that within the limited location, uh, which I've defined, that you can define a kilometer radius also. Another good option is brand awareness. You can actually go and define a brand awareness campaigns, and more people could see that there is a store which has come up in the local vicinity. And can't I do reach campaign? So what will reach give me as an ROI? People more likely to engage with my brand, right? This is what I am probably going to achieve out of this reach campaign if I define it. So I say food store, food store reach. Then I really have to choose one page where I don't have a food store page or something with me. So maybe I'll take this page. This is one of my page. Now you have to choose your page. So for example, when you start designing a campaign objective, you have to choose your page. So you could have, few people may have multiple pages, few people may have single page. So you have to choose your page, and then once you will choose your page, the campaign, it is going to take certain data what your page do, and whatever business you have, based on whatever business details you have defined, and then it will come to the audience segment of it. Now audience is something we have defined. Now help me. Okay, now which location? So for example, we take this store to a location which is in, say, Delhi. Now we are in Delhi, the store is in Delhi. Now how should I define my audience? What should I do in defining my audience now? So what should go here in the location? Delhi. Okay, let's try Delhi. Okay, Delhi India is county, Delhi India is city. So we'll choose city, right? Now once we have chosen a city, we have a radius which is a 40-kilometer radius. Yes, Ayush, we can actually do that. We can drop a pin as well, right? We can drop a pin as well to be more specific in the place within Delhi, and then we can define a radius to that drop pin. So for example, I have a drop pin here. And if I really want to do that, I can choose an area, I can drop that pin, and then that pin, I can define a radius to that pin, and then people within that particular location. So for example, South Delhi, I have defined a radius of say 12 kilometers. So people who are in South Delhi and within the radius of those 12 kilometers are going to see my post, and they are going to engage with my post. Now, yes, when you define a business, when your business is more local business, hyper local business, you define a very specific area, because people beyond certain kilometer radius or a distance radius is, they are unlikely to come. They will come if your brand visibility is good, your reviews are really good, brand reviews are really good, your store reviews are really good, they will come. They will come to your location, but your primarily people who are around your vicinity for a hyper local business, they are going to visit. Now one question is there any restriction of choosing kilometers in numbers? Yes. So if you're choosing in a city level, you can go up to 17-kilometer radius, right? And if you're dropping a pin, you can go up to 1 kilometer, 2 kilometer, and you can define any radius you want there. So for example, I go, and I say my business, my business is in certain location. With Tilak Mark, and I have my business in certain area, say in Tilak Mark, and I want to drop a pin here and say my business resides here. Okay, so if I'm dropping a pin, what I'll do is I will remove city as a location. I have a pin. Now I can define the radius, right? In which radius or whatever you feel that your customer falls in and they are more likely to come and visit your store or your business, you can define it, right? So does that answer your question, Himani? So you have a city level location targeting. You can drop your pin and you can define the radius around that. And the stores have both kind of audience. When you are very specific for certain kind of products, people are likely to travel for that distance and come to your store and do shopping. And when your business is more like hyper local business, people within certain kilometer areas radius are going to come to your business, and then you can define a drop in and you can define that radius, and then more likely your ad budgets is going to spend on the reaching people who falls into that, the location which you have defined, the area which you have defined. Right, guys, is it clear? Please keep responding so that I know you are able to hear me. Great. So age, location, sorry, age. Now depending on say business, we are into food business, we have a food outlet, so we can look at people who goes beyond 16 as well, right? So if my food is like a Chinese food, or is it like say some international cuisine which I'm looking at, pizzas, Italian food and all, so I can look at people ranging from 16, and I can go say up to what age, 35, 40, I can define that. So people in this kilometer of radius, which I'll say I define a little more, because usually 7 to 8 kilometers people respond, keep it 10. So more likely people, if my reviews are good, people are going to visit me from the radius beyond the active customer base, right? Now gender. So as per you, if I have a food business, what kind of gender I should go along with? Should I keep it all, men or women? Okay, so I got responses. All, yes, all, because every kind of people are going to, eat it. So languages, is language going to play any role? Language filter is going to play any role in this? Should I define a language? Yes, great. So I'll go to demographics, interests, behaviors, and all, right? If I'll say food, I have various options here, right? Interest into it, organic food, food and wine, seafood, snack food, chicken food, fast food, right? So I could say a fast food restaurant. If I'll say fast food restaurant, demographics. I can define. What else I can do here? What else should I choose here? Let's look at the browse section. Interest, food and drink, restaurants, right? Fast casual restaurant, fast food restaurant, which I've already chosen. I can choose fast casual restaurant. If I have diners options, I can choose on them as well, right? What else I can do? I can target people who have certain anniversaries or birthdays around it as a behavior, and I can, tell them that, hey, you can come here and celebrate, right? A new food joint is there in your vicinity. You can use it. You can celebrate your birthdays, anniversaries with us. What else? So, what connection type should I go with? Should I add a connection type here? Should I add? Marceline, can you help me with what connection type should I add here? No. So, please help me to understand that why I should not add any connection type here in this business. Please help me with the reason. Anyone can help me? Yes. So, one thing is that we are new to the business. That is what we discussed about as a situation. We have a new page, Facebook page. So, obviously, our Facebook page audience is very limited as of now. We only have like, we would have invited our friends and all to come and like the page. So, we have a limited audience there. If I define a connection type there, in the present scenario, in this scenario, so my reach would be very specific or limited, so then I will not be able to get the maximum mileage of my investment, of my marketing dollars which I'm going to invest on it. Another thing is, you can save this audience for your future references. You can spend time in terms of choosing everything what best you can choose. You can play with the filters out here, and then you can save this audience. So once you'll save this audience, you can give an audience name, and you can keep choosing this audience, using this audience in the future campaigns. So you don't have to really go and define this audience every time you create a new campaign, right? Great. So for example, I am done with this part. Now this audience has been created. I have certain people who are into this area. I have defined a location as well, and everything, everyone in this location. Now I'm going to go to another section of it, which you guys are going to help me with. placements. Okay, so what is the difference between automatic placements and edit placements? Can anybody help me? Yes, I'm waiting for responses. No response. So again, I'm putting my question again. And am I audible? So once we define our, when we have chosen our campaign, we have chosen the page, we have created our location, the audience which we are going to target. Now we are looking at who is and where my ad is going to appear, right? So where my ad is going to appear, Facebook has given us one option which is called automatic placement, which is recommended by Facebook, because Facebook here decides where you are likely to get the best performance. It could be Facebook, it could be Instagram, it could be Facebook audience network, or it could be Facebook Messenger, right? So the ad is going to show in the various Facebook platforms based on the best engagement. Facebook is going to show your ad to ensure that you get maximum ROI out of your ad. Now, for example, you have specific conditions. You have, say, a limited budget you're looking at, or you say you want more and more benefits to come to your, say, Facebook page only. More likely, you want people to come and engage with your Facebook page, more ROIs and all, or there could be other parameters. So you can go to edit placement and you can define a device type. You can look at mobile only or desktop only, right? So usually people do take all devices as an option, but if you look at it in terms of traffic, do you know how much traffic do we usually get on Facebook from mobile? Okay, so I'll put it easier. Is desktop means laptops and desktops? Does desktops and laptops generate more traffic on Facebook, or mobile generates more traffic on Facebook? Mobile device as a device. Yes, so everybody responded with mobile. Yes, you're right, mobile. So because usually as a practice we browse Facebook number of times in a day, that depends person to person, but at least we get 4 or 5 pointers in a day when people go and browse their Facebook. And mobile devices are driving more traffic to your Facebook, as an active customer base. So you can define that, okay, my ad will only can go to only mobile only ads, it could be only mobile or desktop only, or it can go to all devices. So as of now we'll choose all devices, and then we say, okay, I don't want, or I want, say, audience network, or I don't want an audience network. So I can choose, select, unselect the audience, the network which I where I want my ads to appear. So for example, I choose everything. I say Facebook feeds, instant articles, instant videos should be there. Instagram, audience network, and Messenger as well. So how many of you are familiar with Messenger ads? Facebook Messenger ads. How many of you use it? Okay, so install Facebook Messenger in your mobile. Okay, and you would be able to see. certain ads in your friend list, and there would be certain kind of sponsored messages which will come to you, which are more relevant, because Facebook has certain data points where they define your interest and behavior, and then they push that message to you. So you're not going to be bombarded with sponsored messages, but you are going to get messages which are going to be more relevant to you. So this is what Facebook has started as a messenger advertising, and this really works well. So a lot of times when you want to initiate an interaction with your customers, you can actually choose Facebook Messenger as a option, as a platform. Then people can actually do an inquiry about things, and then they you can actually chat with them, and you can actually convert your business into it. You can also go and define any kind of specific Android, iOS. That depends. If you say have a mobile application, that's an only Android application, so you can look at Android devices. Or you have anything else very very specific to say iOS applications, you can look at that. You know, you can look at that. You can choose in between. Otherwise, all the locations uh, which you can, all the devices actually you can choose. Okay. Now, should I choose this option only when connected to Wi-Fi? Great, 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 great. Good. So that we have done with the placement, we know where our ad is going to show on what platforms. We know about our audience. We have chosen our page, obviously, objectives we have defined. Now, once all these things are done, we are going towards the next step, which is called budget and schedule. So you have various kind of options which are available, where within which you can choose and you can define your object and budgets and scheduling based on your marketing budgets, based on what kind of engagement type or ad type you want to run, the delivery type you want to run. You can look at the scheduling part of it, and you can also decide upon how are you going to get charged for it, right? So I'm going to the first part, which is budget. What should I choose? Daily budget or a lifetime budget? You can actually choose either of it. You can define a timeline to it. Say, I want to run it from today to I can want to run this campaign for a month. Yeah. So I've defined it. I've defined a time here, and I can define a budget. So in a month's time, what kind of budget I'm going to spend. So what budget should I take? Say 10K. A lifetime budget. I want to spend like 10K in a month. This campaign starts in the past, right? So optimize your ad for delivery, and then you can choose upon a reach, because we have defined a reach campaign. So when we decided on the objective, we have chosen reach. We will serve your ads to maximum people, maximum number of people, right? Now you have a Himani, that depends. That depends on your budget. That depends on your daily interaction. That depends on your daily interaction, though. So I prefer daily budget, because there are the days, once I start running my ad, there are the days when I see I get more interaction on my ads, and there are the days in a week where I see lesser interaction on my ads. So I rather put more money on those days where I get major interaction, and I defined the campaign to be accelerated or to run in the standard mode. And the days which are less responsive, I rather define a maybe a lesser budget. So I take a daily budget rather option, which also helps me, you know, ultimately it is going to drive down to your lifetime budget, right? In lifetime budget, what Facebook usually look at is that you have given say 10,000 budget. We have defined 10,000. So Facebook knows that Facebook has to spend 10,000 rupees in a month's time. So there, Facebook is going to eventually show your ads to ensure that your 10,000 rupees should not be spent within a shorter period of time or a longer period of time. It should eventually, is spent within the defined period, and then you get the required business objective or marketing objective. You achieve that out of it. So then Facebook defines. Wherein if I define a daily budget, Facebook look at it on with a daily activity. So Facebook say 500 rupees. So accordingly, Facebook is going to show your ads based on the budget you have defined. Okay. Now there is a when you are doing a reach campaign, you also have a frequency cap. So you can define the number of frequency people are going to see your ad in number of days. Do you understand about this frequency cap? Good, Marceline. Anyone else? Okay. So let me explain what is frequency cap. So say for example, there is an ad which you are look at it. So keep people from seeing your ad too often. Enter the minimum number of days that should pass before someone sees your ad again. So for example, I am your customer. Akash is your customer, right? You create this ad campaign and I am one of your preferred TG. I falls into it. Okay. When you show your ad, because I fall into it, I am seeing your ad again and again, right? Again and again. Now that is adding up to your marketing dollars, your advertising dollars, because I am getting the ad, and as per you know my campaign defines, I am looking at more and more number of reach. So my marketing dollars are going to get spent. Now this is another behavior is if I show somebody my ad n number of times, what likely the person is going to behave with it? How likely? So can anybody help me with that behavior pointer? Like what do you do when you see your ad n number of times repeatedly? Yeah, yes. So you report it, unfollow, block. You can do certain things. Your Facebook has actually provided you with a lot of options. So you can do that because that's really started bothering you. So what you do is you define a cap. You say, see, in say 3 days time, in 3 days time, show my ad to a person maximum 6 times. Right? Is it clear? So Akash is going to see your ad 6 times in 3 days. Okay, so more likely matlab, it's like that you are unlikely to get the negative reaction to it. That's one. You are going to save on your advertising dollars. That's another important thing which you want to obviously optimize, right? So is it clear, guys? Great. Now the bid strategy. Usually what we leave it is we leave the bid thing on Facebook, because Facebook looks at that you spend lesser and lesser amount of money, but there would be point of time in a day when the bid and the user base and the activity base is higher. So at that point of time, the bid could actually go up, and in the lean time, the bid rate could go down. But Facebook manages an average proposition into it and ensures that you pay the optimum value of it. But for example, you really have to look at that. I don't want to spend certain amount of money, you know, for a particular, say, traction, engagement. So right now, I'm going to say Facebook suggests me that you have to pay 100 rupees per thousand impressions, which is called. Can anybody help me? What is this called? What is this delivery type? Impressions. When we do impressions, what is that ad type? What is this charge type? When Facebook really charge you with CPM, right? Great, great. So different campaigns with different objectives have different bid strategy and the charge type. Primarily, there are two. One you have defined, and another one is clicks. So cost per mile is something which happens with reach and brand awareness and all, because you want your ad to reach out to more number of peoples, maximum number of peoples. So you do a CPM campaign, so more people see your ad and they are likely to engage with it. So when are you charge? You are going to charge on the impression, and then you can do the ad scheduling into it, right? So the default option is run ads all the time, but you can also define a schedule, right? So for example, you have an ad where you want people to call you up, you maybe a home delivery. If you're talking about a food joint, maybe we are talking about home delivery. Maybe we want people to see our ad during the lunch hours or the dinner hours, so that more people, when they go to Facebook around the lunch hours, they see your offers, or they can see that there is a joint which is actually offering me these things nearby, and I can actually place an order. So you can have your USP delivered in say 15 minutes or 30 minutes, or you can say that you have range of, say, food options available, right? You can actually have an offer at that point of time and say order within this time and you will get 10% discount, various things for your business. In that case, you can define a schedule here. When you will define a schedule, the ad is going to appear to your TG within that time schedule, right? You have two options here: use this account's time zone, or you use user's time zone, right? So usually when you do international campaigns, you look at like users time zone and all. But usually if you do an Indian campaign, you can choose either of it. Is going to give you the similar results, right? So shall I continue, guys? Ad set is clear. You know how to create an ad, set up page, audience placement, and budget. Great. Um, have to- Okay. So now we have to choose something between the formats. So you know about all these formats. You have various kind of ad formats which are available on Facebook. Okay. So for example, we will choose right now a single image ad. Okay. We will choose single image. The moment we'll choose single image, so we have something like this which will appear down here, which we can choose and define our ad around. Now when I've chosen my single image, there are either I can use my cover photo as an ad, so people will see a more cover photo as a creative option, or I can choose some other creative. Maybe I can have my own library I have some great images in my system. I can choose that. I can add more photos. I can choose from free stock images as well, right? So you guys are aware about the free stock images feature on Facebook? So for example, I'll just do it. I'll take up, I'll say I am doing a food thing. And when I say food thing, I have various food options available here, and I can choose a good creative out of it. So I'll choose this one. Yeah, oh, this looks good, and I confirm. So now I have two ad options. I can choose either of it. I can choose both of them. I'm choosing one of it. So when I'll do, it is going to show me an ad preview here, right? So you are seeing a Shutterstock, watermark on top of it. The watermark won't appear in the final ad image. Okay, it will be a query. It is not going to appear here. Now, text. Add a website URL. So, for example, you have a website of your business and you want people to come and visit here. So I'll say healhealth.com, right? I'll have a text define here, serving. Okay, so help me one thing, the image which I have chosen for this ad. Do you think this image is apt? This is good. This image is going to give you uh, the the good eyeballs engagement, attention span. So there are certain parameters, right? When we design ad types, when we choose images to create an ad. So there are certain traits to it which we have to take care of. So is this image good enough? Should I go and create an ad around this? And if this is good, why? So guys, please help me with the faster response. So this image has the the subject, which is my food, which is clear. I can have a feel around it, which is like, oh, this seems to be delicious, which takes up my attention. If I choose something else for a food business which is not very much related or relevant to it, I'm unlikely to get any engagement around that ad despite spending the. Yes. So Devdat, what has happened is I have chosen one page. Obviously, that's a heal and health page which I have in my account, and we have taken up a business which is more like a food business. So yes, you are right. So if I'll take it as heal and health, it is not going right. Let me choose something else. I think food is not going to work. Maybe this would work better, right? So now they've got two options. One is, if I talk about the page we have chosen, maybe this image could do well. As an example, we are talking about a food outlet, then in that case image 1 is good for it, right? Either of it. So yes, based on your business and business objective, you can choose upon what kind of creative you have, and then you have to set up the communication. The communication needs to be effective, clear, and emotional. When I talk about food, you guys, I'm audible, right? Okay. So when I'm talking about the message, it should be clear, emotional, effective, and it should keep our business goals in mind, the audience in mind. When I'm talking about food, food should be, good, delicious, and I rather also say healthy food, which goes with my page as well. Something, I'm adding a website URL here. So you go to my website and you can place your order. So what kind of headline I can define? Help me with the headline. A headline which needs to be effective, which can actually drive engagement, as in satisfy my marketing funnel, can give me some tractions. What? Can anybody help me with it? What kind of communication can go here in the headline? Say, for example, I talk about um, it's a restaurant business, so I'll say, great, I'm taking this. Eat healthy, stay healthy. Now we are going to talk about something which people. Oh, stay wealthy. Okay. Call now and get 10% discount. Yes, so we can define it here. We can say call now and get 10% discount, or either say yes. Now once this has been defined, you have your ad preview here, and you can also add a button to it, and I say call now. I'll add a number, so 99100 for example. Now you have a call now button. on your ad. Now, this is what the action you wanted to define, right? People should call you immediately and they can book an order. So, as an objective, I define, say, a schedule. Say, for example, I've defined a schedule. I said I am going to show my ad on the lunch hours, on the dinner hours, and I want people to really call and give orders, right? So now Facebook pixels and all, we are going to really go through it in the next session, and then I say confirm. The moment I'll confirm this, I'll click on confirm here. The ad is going to be submitted. Facebook is going to review the ad and approve the ad. And once the ad is being approved, based on the budget we have chosen, the schedule we have chosen, the audience we have chosen, the ad will start appearing in it to your targeted audience. The ad will start appearing to them, and then you will start getting tractions, which you can actually go and check in your page insights. You would see the number of likes you are getting, the number of comments you are getting, the shares you are getting, the number of overall engagement which you are getting, and what point of time you get more engagement, how you are getting more engagement, page likes and all. So the various ROIs you are going to generate out of this entire ad campaign, you will be able to track that out, guys. So it is clear to everybody. Any questions on this? I am glad to know this. I am really glad to know this. Very good, very good. Now, one more thing which I'm going to cover before we end this session, and I'm going to go back to the objectives. Reason being, we have various objectives here. We only talked about one objective, which is reach. So we created a campaign around it, right? So I'm going to talk about the other objectives as well, right? So we have studied about five campaign types in Facebook, right? What are those five campaign types, or campaign objectives rather, I'll say? So one is brand awareness, lead generation. People, please respond to my questions also. Local sales, online sales, promote your app. Great, great. So now what we are going to do is we are going to segment these options and say what comes into which campaign type category, right? So if I have to do a brand awareness campaign, what all I could do out of these options available here? I have to do a brand awareness campaign. What should I do? Engagement and videos. No, no, no. So I'm talking about, Reshma, I'm talking about within these marketing objectives. I'm just trying to segregate in terms of your five campaign objectives and types. Primarily, you are going to run your campaign. You can actually design more out of it as well. The more you get well versed with the entire application, entire system of Facebook marketing. But as of now, if I say I have to do a brand awareness campaign, so you have this brand awareness part here. But what are the other ways I can actually generate my brand awareness? So if I say brand awareness, I can also do video views, because if I do video views, it is again going to reach and tell my story to my audience, right? I can do a reach campaign. Yeah, I can do an engagement campaign as well. I can do that, right? Because engagement is going to give me post engagement, page likes, even responses and all, right? And boost post too. Right. You are right, Marcelina. You are right. Yes. If I have to generate leads, I have to look at my business objective is to generate leads. My campaign objective is to generate leads. Then what? Yes. And yes. So lead generation and conversion. So there is a behavioral difference between lead generation and conversion campaign. Lead generation is where Facebook is going to give you the entire platform. Somebody is interested, he'll click on the button, they have pre-fill information which is going to come there, submit, and that is going to come in your ads manager as a within the CSV format and XLS format. You can actually export that, and you have all that data with you, and then you can actually have an offline, an online, or a call interaction with them. While conversion is something where you are actually taking your customer, your user to a landing page, which could be on your website. You take them to a landing page and you want them to go through some information and fill up the form there, and again you generate a lead, and the behavior is primarily different for both these type of lead campaigns. Now if I really want to do a local sales, I want to increase my local sales, what should I do? What should I do? See, I can also engagement, store visits, conversion, store visits. Yes. So somewhere I could say conversion you can do, but that depends how are you designing that campaign and what is the core objective when you want somebody to land on your page. You can create your offers and you can create a reach campaign. Yes, Marceline, you are right. You can create a reach campaign. You can have some offers where people can engage with. Now you have certain offer. To redeem that offer, they can come to the store, and this is how you are going to increase your footfalls, right? Boosting your post, and again certain kind of a campaign which you will define around it. Again, people can come and redeem certain offers which you can define, and again you are achieving your business objective, which is driving the sales, local sales, or people can start ordering. The one thing which we have discussed right now, they can call you up, they can order, and your local sales is going to increase with it. Now when you have to define your online sales, yes, conversion campaigns which will work, traffic generation which will work. So you can define traffic to your website, and you define the conversion campaign to it, right? And then promoting your app. So for app promotion, which option should I go for? Yes, app installs. So you can go and define the app installs, you can define the URLs, and you can define again, the entire exercise. You will define your audience, placement, budget, everything into it, and then you can lead a campaign, which will be app installation will be primarily mobile driven campaigns, because you could have either the Android app or a iOS app, and app installations people are going to do, and then you are going to get insight based on what kind of engagement people are going doing on it. So for example, if I'm a food outlet and I want people to install my app in my local vicinity, so that ordering becomes easier for me, I can really push the campaigns to people who are already my customers, who are using my app. I can do various other marketing activities when I have that data. uh, so yes, and I know the locations, I know the address, so my delivery becomes faster. I can use the data with, various objectives and various purposes, and that gives me benefits. So this is how I define the entire thing into it. Now guys, I would request, if you have any question, you can put it in the chat box. So I would like to share, and I also want you to fill up this feedback form. So have you got the URL? Yes, Himani. Placement of the ads affects the overall bid strategy. So usually what happens is the different ad placements, uh, if you're looking at Facebook or Instagram, and you know so the more options you are going to choose, and if you are doing a CPM campaign, if you're going to do a CPM campaign, right? So the more options you are going to choose, which means it requires more marketing budget, right, Himani? So that also depends on what kind of budget I'm really targeting, how much money I'm looking forward to invest as a daily basis or on a lifetime basis, and then based on that, my where my audience interacts more, and then we can actually decide upon what placements and what budget we can actually play with it. Face feedback URL is not working. Just give me a second. Give me a second. Let me find out the reason for it. Feedback URL, if it's not working, it should work. Just give me a second, guys. I'm trying to resolve it.